Hello once again and welcome to Willow Talk. Adam Peacock here. There is Alyssa Healy. Won't say there, but she's not next to me, but she's joining me on the podcast. How are you, Heels?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. Sorry I'm not there next to you, but I'm still here.
You're still here. You still where? You're still here. Ash Gardner's wedding. How was it?
Yeah. Good fun. It was rather intimate. I'm surprised I was invited, but it was a very enjoyable evening. They enjoyed themselves, most importantly, because that's what it's all about. But everyone had a good time. So, yeah, good.
You're an idiot if you don't invite the captain. That's my policy. So, well done, Ash. Well done, Ash.
I would have excused it if I hadn't have been invited, so it would have been fine. But luckily I was, and I did thoroughly enjoy myself. So there you go.
And as long as they enjoyed themselves as well.
Yeah.
The now wedded couple. So, great news and congratulations to Ash Gardner and her partner. Look at the awards this episode from the Australian state sides. They've had awards nights around the place, so it's have a glass of Chardonnay season, it seems, in more ways than one. Have a look at the IPL. Hads has had a loss, so they will not be winning the IPL, and it's all his fault. No, these things happen. But Delhi, undefeated, Heels is about to join them. So if the wheels fall off at Delhi, it's going to be all the blame put on one person.
Well, I'm a little bit worried because last year I was like the saviour, right, at Kolkata. Mitch wasn't going that great. I turned up. He started going really well. So I'm a bit concerned that this year is going really well and then I'm about to head over. So it could unravel really, really quickly. But they are looking very good, I will say that. Good side. Yeah.
Later on in this episode as well, we've got Australian Test spinner Matt Kuhnemann joining us. So a bit to talk about, Matt. He's a laid-back character, which he needed to be in the last couple of months, given that his action was put into question. But the good news is for Matt, he's come through it, he got cleared, and he's got the contract as well, Heels. So he's now just waiting by the phone, basically, to work out where in the world he's going to be in the next couple of months, whether that be with the Australian side or maybe go and play a bit of county, or maybe going on a surf trip as well. Good to have options in life, isn't it?
That's sometimes, when you play cricket for a living, you're thinking about your next move, which team you're going to play for, where in the world am I going to be? But sometimes when it all falls through and you end up on a surf trip, things aren't so bad. So, I mean, you're right, it is nice to have options, but I'd take the surf trip. But, I'm later on in my career, so good luck to him.
Fair enough. And we've got some county action to get across, and Sundries, and interesting series over there, Pakistan, New Zealand. Pretty eventful. Very eventful, actually. So we'll get to that a bit later on Willow Talk. Now, remember to hit us up on social media if you want to get in touch with the show by searching Willow Talk Podcast on TikTok and Instagram, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Listener Sport. George VT14 has said, earlier this year, Heels mentioned playing in odd regions. If she's heading to Jamaica this summer, I'm more than happy to run water so she can have the gloves for my local club for a match. Heels. That is an interesting proposition.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that I joined this podcast because I have got some offers to play cricket right around the world, and Jamaica could be high up there. I've never actually played there before. Could be there. The back end of July, maybe around a test series, but I will hit up George for if I do need to practice while I'm over. That sounds like a really nice offer.
Yeah, sounds good. Celebrate Mitch's 100th test, go and play in a game in Jamaica as well, and come back with some great memories. Great memories. George, thank you for that offer, and it's on the table. And a reminder here, Heels, you're contractually obliged to give us 10% of all earnings from these offers as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah, cool. Please leave us a review and follow us on the Listener app, Apple Pods or Spotify as well. There's awards nights left, right and centre here, Heels, that have happened. And I'll spin through some of the winners. But what I want to know from you, and you can have a think about it as I spin through the winners, is what constitutes a really good awards night? So we'll get to that in a moment. But firstly, Queensland, the Ian Healy Trophy, Michael Neser, the Women's Award was won by Charlie Knott. In South Australia, the Men's Award won by Liam Scott. Amanda Jade Wellington won the Women's Award. Tassie, Jake Weatherald and Maisie Gibson won the awards. Fergus O'Neill and Ella Hayward in Victoria and WA, Corey Roccaccioli. And also Maddie Dark and Amy Edgar shared the Women's Award. New South Wales yet to have their awards. So, Heels, after you've spent the summer playing cricket. What's an awards night like? Is it where you can really rock up to someone and tell them what you think, or just celebrate and chill out and have a good time?
I've been a part of both, where there's been people that have told one another exactly what they think. Not just about their seasons either, about their life choices. But hey, we won't get into that any further.
I think I know what you're talking about as well. But anyway, we'll skip on.
Pass over that one. I've been a part of both. I think the awards night is a chance for everyone to let their hair down, and oddly enough, sometimes you got to wait a little bit longer than the end of your season to let that happen. But a couple of drinks under your belt, a good opportunity to have a bit of a boogie on the dance floor. There's always some sort of good band playing at the back end of it. So it's a chance to enjoy what was a memorable season. And sometimes for a lot of domestic players around the globe, it's a long season. So for them to just let their hair down and kick off their off season, I think is a good thing.
Who's the best dancer in Australian cricket that you've seen?
Molly Strano and Sophie Molyneux probably take the cake. Yeah. I saw Spencer Johnson actually on the dance floor at the Australian Cricket Awards, and he gave it a real red hot crack. But the two girls, I've never quite seen anyone better than them just yet.
But if you had to split them, if you were pushed to say one, you get the free ticket into Dancing with the Stars, who would Australian cricket push forward out of those two? Molyneux's done it in front of 90,000 at the MCG with Katy Perry singing, and did it pretty well.
Yeah, with a few beers under her belt, whereas I feel like Molly Strano will do it after a Sprite. So I'm going to go with Molly Strano. I think she'd be excellent to watch in the Dancing with the Stars.
Brilliant, yeah. Oh, well, congratulations to all those winners of the awards. The T20 Player of the Year awards were announced at each state, New South Wales to come, obviously. But, I've heard of a story where last year a young player who didn't quite have the season he wanted to got just bombarded, like borderline berated by a legend of that particular state about what he did wrong and what he needs to concentrate on in the off-season. So there's that factor as well at these state awards.
Yeah, I will say that. It is a good opportunity for the ex-players who get invited along. Sometimes they have medals and awards named after them to come along and let their hair down as well, which can lead to a little bit of trouble about, how things could be better in the modern day game. We tend to get a lot of that advice, but you take it or leave it and you entertain the thoughts and ideas and you respect the legends of the game. And then you go to the bar and help yourself to something else to get away from them is probably the best way that I'd put it.
Now, I'm going to embarrass the crap out of you here. Have you got an award named after you anywhere in Australia?
I do actually, and I went the other night to present it. Actually, back at my old school Barker here in Sydney, I have the Alyssa Healy Contribution to Cricket Award, which I find is quite funny because I'm not sure what I contributed, but that's one up there. Some of the others I'm not 100% sure of, but I don't want any awards named after me when I retire, please and thank you. Just give me the bar. I'll just show up for that.
I'm ringing New South Wales Cricket after this to demand that you have something named after. No, but the contribution to cricket, is that like something outside, not just performance, it's just being a good human, is it?
Oh, I think you've summarised it really well, Adam. I'm sure that is what the award is for. I think it's the overall sort of just everyone loved, what they've done for the game this year. And I will say I was a bit chuffed because it was actually a coach that won it, and he was coaching the second 11, and it seemed like he was just the guy that everyone wanted to be around at the school cricket. He did everything for everyone and helped out, and the biggest roar all night was when he won that award. So that was really cool. So maybe I'd much rather an award like that named after me than, best player, because sometimes it's not always the best player,
And nice work, Heels, by going along and doing it. So,
it was cool.
And being part of that cricket community still at Barker. IPL, that's a big cricket community. A few people watching as well. Let's get into that right now, shall we? Travis Head, Pat Cummins, the Run Risers. Not looking too flash at the moment. They've had a couple of hefty defeats. They lost the KKR by 80 runs and the Gujarat by 7 wickets. And things are looking upside down from last season. What do you reckon the issue is here?
Yeah, well, all of a sudden, out of the blue, their top order's not firing. I think Pat Cummins sort of played a nice knock the other night to get them to a reasonable total, but then Gujarat were too good at chasing it down too easily. But yeah, their top order is just all of a sudden out of the blue, not really firing for them. That's basically how they've managed to score all the runs they have over the last couple of seasons, those 4 at the top. And you throw in Heinrich Klaassen as well throughout the middle to just belt bowlers to all parts of stadium. So not quite firing at the moment, but it is a really long tournament. You can have a little ebbs and flows throughout it, but I no doubt that, especially when they get back in home conditions in particular, they'll be red hot again. But they're hard to stop, but I think teams are starting to figure out a few ways to keep them quiet, and we've seen that over the last couple of games.
Yeah, Brad Haddin's Punjab Kings, as mentioned at the top. It's Ricky Ponting's Punjab Kings as well. They suffered their first loss. Rajasthan got them by 50 runs. This surprised me somewhat. Jofra Archer, 3 for 25. Marcus Stoinis got 1. Glenn Maxwell, 30. Glenn Maxwell's come under a bit of heat from Sanjay Mandraker, who I'm led to believe is never short of an opinion, it's fair to say. Sanjay says, Halley's Comet orbits the sun and is visible from Earth once every 75 years. Just like that, Glenn Maxwell plays one good match in 75 games. It was last seen in 1986 and will now be spotted in 2061. It's the same case with Maxwell in batting. Glenn Maxwell is Halley's Comet of cricket. Trifle harsh, I would have thought, the great man.
And I just feel like, interesting comments, but I feel like if he's that bad, why do people keep picking him? Why are people paying money to have him in your side? If he's as bad as what Mandrake is suggesting that he is, or comes off as infrequently as potentially what he actually does, why do sides keep picking him up and want him to be a part of your side? So, look, take it or leave it. He hasn't probably scored the runs that he wants to, but in saying that, he's such an impact player, and that's why you have him in your side. He can do everything, bat ball and in the field as well, that wins you games. So, yes, it might not come off all the time, but the odd occasion where it really does come off for you is more often than not in the big games, and that's where you want your best players doing the big stuff.
Having never been in India when the IPL is on, I could only imagine it's like this, Heels, because it is so big, those who have the rights cover it, but everyone else wants to cover it in their own way. So I can only imagine there's opinions flying around like flies at a barbecue on a hot day.
Oh, I mean, you see it here in Australia. You've got 2 broadcasters at the moment, a whole heap of radio that cover every summer of cricket. So all of a sudden there's amplified voices on exactly what's going on, and they all want a different opinion, which is completely fine. But in India, you multiply that by about 100. There's TV channels, there's YouTube channels, there's social media channels all following the competition, and they all want to say, and rightly so, I guess they're afforded the opportunity to do that. But players are highly scrutinised for how much money they're making and how they're performing, and you come under fire really, really quickly when those two things don't quite add up. So, it is interesting. It's like you're living you're in the middle of the fish tank, and everyone's in there watching in, seeing how you're going. But everyone's allowed their own opinion, but you've just got to be strong in your own mind about what you're bringing to each side and how you're contributing, I suppose.
You didn't mention about podcasts as well. Don't forget them. I mean, there's people having opinions on podcasts all the time, aren't they, Heels?
Well, I just assumed that was assumed. The podcast came first, TV second.
You just assumed that was assumed.
Yeah. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, the podcast." Yeah. You're right. You think about it. Like I'm having my opinion on every single thing that's happening, and right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. People will agree with it. People won't. But I guess interestingly, we got to be really careful about who we're shit canning, so to speak, because, they are human beings at the end of the day, and they're trying their best, and we know that. We go out there on the golf course every week trying our best, and we fail more often than not. So you just got to be kind to one another and make sure that, we're not too harsh, I think.
Speak for yourself. Look, Glenn Maxwell, his history in white ball cricket suggests that it's a bit more frequent than Halley's Comet. Yeah, just brought up that comment because it felt like that was something that was said with a bit of mayo on top for the sake of putting mayo on it, which understandably happens when people are going to stand out in a crowded media landscape. Mitch Marsh, he's performing once again with a bat. Lucknow got a 12-run win over Mumbai, but got to mention the Delhi Capitals here, Heels. So 3-0. Mitch bowled economically the other night, 1 for 27. Kale Raoul was the star, 77, held it all together for Delhi. But atop they sit right now, going well.
Going really well. The only way's down.
Don't be like that.
Or to stay there. So it's one or the other, isn't it? So.
Oh, man. Hey, what we're going to do right now, I don't know we need to add to that, what you've just said. Summed up Delhi at the moment. We'll have a greater look at them later in the week. You're about to head over to India and join Mitch at the IPL. But for now, we're going to take a little drinks break. We'll be back in a moment with Matt Kuhnemann, in-depth interview with the Australian spinner. Matt, thanks for joining us, mate. First of all, congratulations on the CA contract. Locked it in. What have you bought yourself?
Thank you very much. No, nothing. I think I shared my parents a dinner or and a couple of coffees, so nothing major. But no, yeah, it's really exciting.
Awesome, mate. So how do you find out about that? Because this is your first locked-in contract that you know that you're on the contracting list, as opposed to previous editions where you've been upgraded.
Yeah, I just got a call from one of the selectors, and just let me know and said well done, and that's really about it. So I have a couple of conversations with with the coach and more the strength and conditioning guys, staff. So sort of found out last week. So yeah, something really excited about.
So I was talking last week to Heels about this, what it actually materially means for you guys as players. Does this mean now that you've got it's an upgraded health fund? You get extra support from the national body in terms of strength and conditioning and looking after your body and those things, or is it other matters that come into the equation?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much it's a whole. Yeah, you sort of deal with the Aussie staff probably a fair bit more than what you would with your states. So I think that's probably mainly the main reason.
What have things been like for you to get to this point over your career? How would you sum that up?
I think my career's been a bit of a roller coaster, really. So it's sort of just something you got to be patient. I think if like 5 years ago I said have a CA deal and played 5 test matches, I'd say you're kidding yourself. So no, I've sort of love cricket. That's probably the most important bit, but sort of love the art of spin bowling. So I think to sort of get a baggy green was is a dream come true. But sort of now, a couple of years on, you sort of want to play as many tests as you can. So or just be a part of many tours more so. So that's that's sort of something where I'm at now in my career is just keep getting better and probably in all parts of the world. So I'm sort of lucky enough to play around in England, Australia, and the subcontinent. So I absolutely love just learning more about spin bowling and cricket in general.
So when you say 5 years ago, you would have said you were crazy if you'd been in this position. What was going on 5 years ago? Was it obviously it's difficult as a finger spinner to get going and trust yourself because the availability of runs sometimes on flutter decks is there for batters who are seeing them well. Was it a lack of self-confidence or belief or skill set? Where was it 5 years ago?
I think 5 years ago, I was pretty much just a net bowler to Marnus at Queensland Bulls training pretty much every afternoon. So I looked after him more than anyone else. So probably everything. I think the more you challenge yourself, you sort of learn along the way, and you probably don't realise it when you're going through them phases of your career. But I think I learned so much just bowling, just heaps in the nets. I remember it always been me and Swepo bowling to if it's Usman or Marnus, and we'd just bowl forever. And when you sort of say you're done, the sort of the batters get into you saying that you're not done. And when I say batters, it's usually only Marnus. So just bowl and sort of just wait for an opportunity to play cricket for Queensland. And it was tough because Swepo was bowling beautifully, and the Gabba wasn't really a place for more than one spinner, let alone two. So sort of just bided my time, and then it's funny how it sort of all pans out. A couple of injuries happened, and then COVID helped me a fair bit because Swepo was away, and I sort of got my opportunity there, and sort of took them opportunities, and I'm really grateful how it sort of panned out so far.
Yeah, you've got obviously Mitch Swepson there as part of the Queensland setup when you were coming through. Just back to Marnus. So was there an occasion where he lost his rag because you were done? You had other things to do in your life other than just bowl to him? Like you felt like a human wanger at some stage, I'm sure there. You're just like there for fun, for him.
Yeah, I think it was a few years ago we were in Sri Lanka and I was part of the A tour there, and I sort of stayed on for one of the test matches with the test guys to sort of just bowl in the nets, and I didn't really know. It was the first time I was in Gaul, and I didn't realise how good the surf was down there. So I sort of and Mitch Marsh, he sort of lined up a surf camp, and we'll go and surfing most afternoons. And I remember I'm bowling to the nets to Marnus. I'm about 2.5 hours in, and I've gone, Marnus, I'm done. Like I'm absolutely, my arm's about to fall off here. It's 40 degrees and humid as anything, and then he just sort of just looks at me and goes, mate, this isn't a freaking surf trip, get back in here. So I had to finish him off for another hour of bowling, and I remember just going out for a surf that afternoon. My arms were just absolutely dead. So I don't know, them things you look back and it's funny, but it does help you in the long term.
Did Mitch Marsh wait around with you, or did he just bail and he got his board and said, see you later?
No, he waited for me. So no, that was one of the great trips to wake up and you train and then you're off for an awesome surf. So yeah, it's this beautiful place down there in Gaul.
Yeah, what a guy, Mitch Marsh. And for the uninitiated who just think that Matt Kuhnemann is a Tasmania Shield player, and he is from the Gold Coast. He's talking to us right now from the Gold Coast, so old habits die hard, and obviously a surfer, Matt Kuhnemann. So you love getting out there.
Yeah, I was actually in the surf probably 40 minutes ago prior to this interview.
Sorry to interrupt. I'll let you get back to it shortly. If the Tides are playing friendly this afternoon, you'll get back out there. Absolutely. What about travelling with the Australian team? You mentioned there your travels. I mean, that India tour where you made a name for yourself, you weren't originally on it, were you? So what is it about getting called up for a tour like that and getting an opportunity?
Yeah, I think I look back on it now and you sort of, I wouldn't have changed it for anything. So I think, because it happened so late, gave me a reason not to you don't really think about it too much, and you sort of stay a bit more in the moment. So, no, that was an absolute whirlwind of a tour, and probably the first game was an absolute whirlwind. Sort of found out that I was over there a day later, and then 3 days later you're bowling to Rohit Sharma. So, how that happened was incredible. So I saw one of them things. I think my career, look back and I'll try and stay ready all year round, because you never know what's around the corner.
Those wickets were friendly for spin bowling though, weren't they? I remember them on day one. That was, oh wow, it's turning and turning hard in the first session. So imagine what it's going to be like 2-3 days in. What was that like to bowl on against that calibre of player who basically are fed those wickets growing up?
Yeah, it definitely helps you as a spin bowler. I think the other thing is they're so good at playing them conditions over there. So as much as it helps us spinners out, I think you still got to be as accurate as you can be, because if you miss slightly, they sort of put you to the boundary, and that's why it's such a tough place to go on tour. So but that being there now and being a couple of subcontinent tours, I think sort of your confidence definitely grows.
Do you feel that you're the obvious option now to go on a subcontinental tour, but what about the in-betweens, the other tours that are on? And obviously taking part in a test match here in Australia as well would be pretty handy to have on the CV.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I've absolutely loved my time down at Tasmania so far, and being part of that bowling attack and learning how to bowl at Bell Reeve. It's definitely a unique ground compared to everywhere else in Australia. So I've loved it, the challenge of being a different bowler down there, and I love bowling in Australia as well, sort of top spin, but getting test matches is something it's not easy because you're behind sort of the GOAT at the moment. So it's definitely not easy for other spinners here. So no, it's been great. Being down Tasmania, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, being able to go in between. If I'm bowling Bellerive or if I'm bowling down to the Gabbets, they're complete different grounds. So that's an art of spin bowling, and that's something I thoroughly enjoy.
Get to Sri Lanka in a moment. But what's your skill set most suited to wicket-wise in Australia? Where's the venue that you start rubbing your hands together going, I can't wait to get a bowl here?
I think in today's age, you sort of got to be very versatile in every condition. So, because every ground's so different in a way. But I've played my first Shield game at the SCG this year, and I absolutely loved playing there. This is a bit off topic, but just obviously the wicket does take a bit more spin than other grounds in Australia. But I just everything about it, the change rooms, and I thoroughly enjoyed that place. But yeah, I think, like you said, I think you got to be ready to bowl pretty much everywhere and have plans to different type of batters. If it's overspin, if it's square spin, and just probably the most important bit is having your stock ball in a good spot.
Well, just on the SCG, an aim has to be to play a test match there, and I'll give you an insight why, because Brad Haddon has relayed this to us a few times on Willow Talk. Underneath the home change room, do you like your wine?
Yeah, I don't mind a wine, yeah.
Yeah, there's a cellar underneath the change room, and that gets raided when you have a victory. Yeah. So that's surely a goal. It must be an absolute A1 goal for M. Kuhnemann.
Yeah, definitely. That would be... I know, but when I played, that was in the away change room, so I'm not sure that would happen. You'd probably have to play in the home change room there for Australia. So, that's definitely a good goal.
Mate, Sri Lanka, it was a weird old tour because you're all set to go. I'd say you would have been on the radar a fair while ago, given what happened in India, and then that happened to your hand. Like, how on earth did that get better so quickly? What were the offbeat methods you used to make sure that your hand was in a usable function to get out there and play for Australia?
I think all credit has to go to the surgeon, Dr. Fredrickson. He's an absolute genius how he sort of got in there straight away, and I was fortunate enough to get the surgery done pretty much within probably 10 hours after it happened. So that's probably the first bit, and he did such a great job at it. And he said, I pretty much said 5 days of to lock myself up and make sure it doesn't get infected, because that was like the main reason. So I sort of locked myself in a room and just got on Netflix and just didn't leave the house until they said it was a bit more safe too. And just sort of started playing around with it. I've gone, this actually isn't too bad. And
yeah, that was the broken thumb that you picked up in a Big Bash game. And so what? You became like a Montgomery Burns germaphobe basically for five days. You just didn't want anything to infiltrate anything with that wound there.
Yeah, pretty much. It was, gave myself every chance possible, because it was a very probably slim chance, but it was still a chance. So it was pretty much showering with a plastic bag on and all them little things. So it sort of worked out well towards the end.
16 wickets in 2 test matches in Sri Lanka. Feeling top of the world? Is there a better feeling when you contribute to performances like that?
Yeah, not really. That's pretty much the pinnacle. Getting a win in the baggy green, and then sort of contributing to that win was something we had really special. But I don't know. I probably took a few more wickets than I probably should have, because I had probably Nathan Lyon bowling from the other end, which definitely helps. But that was an amazing couple of weeks.
Did you go for a serve to celebrate?
No, because I had my thumb. I was over there. I was pretty much locked up as well, and showering in the plastic bag. It was a bit of a tease actually, because we were staying at our resort. There was a couple of waves at the front, and you wake up in the morning, you see no one out, and there's these surfable waves. I'm going, kicking myself, but worked out for the better, I guess.
Yeah, probably. There were bigger issues at play. Obviously, while over there, you get reported by the umpires. You get questioned. And what are the next couple of weeks like for you? Talk us through the process about how it was communicated to you and how you dealt with it up until the point you had to do the testing for your action in Brisbane.
Yeah, so I got told the day after the test, and I think my first initial sort of response was sort of let's get it done straight away. So because I was always very confident I was fine. So I was pretty much, as soon as I land in Australia, sort of stay in Brisbane and just get the test done, and then sort of get on with the end of the season with Tasmania. So I sort of landed, and was fortunate enough I could get it done pretty much a couple of days after I landed. And then we sort of just waited, got the results, and then sort of play on and finish the rest of the season. But no, it was a very easy and smooth process, and there's sort of it wasn't nothing really was tough about it. Just one of the things I had to go do and sort of move on and tick it off.
How were you when you actually got told about it, though? Because I can imagine you may or may not have had a little bit of a hangover, which is totally understandable. I don't know. You might have been on the lemonades that night and you were fine. But is it like a jolt when you get told about it, or were there murmurs leading up to it?
No, I was surprised. Like probably first 5 minutes, I was surprised, and then I think the next one is pretty much okay. Well, you can't really change it, so you just got to respect the decision and then respect the process. And sort of, like I said, just sort of, my next question was like, how can I get in and get this done ASAP? Because the ball was coming out nice, I wanted to keep playing cricket. So that was probably the first initial thought was just a bit of shock and surprise, but then it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't too bad. I sort of just get it done, and then sort of then waited.
Had anyone in the previous years said anything to you about it?
No, not at all. So that's why I sort of came as a bit of a surprise. But yeah.
Oh, well, is what it is. And that's how you dealt with it. So you rock up to this testing centre in Brisbane. Take us through the process. Really interested in this, about how they go about it, because I understand it's really thorough, but at the same time, pretty simple.
Yeah, no, it's extremely thorough. I think the ICC, they're there, and they sort of take maybe 4 to 6 hours setting up the whole thing. And then my job is I get told a time to come in, and then I come in and they tell you what's going to happen, and they put all these sensors all over your bodies and on your head, your arms, everything. So, and then it's pretty much you warm up. You can warm up as much as you want, and then they tell you beforehand you're probably going to bowl. It's about 24 balls. And then you sort of, so you bowled, I think I bowled a stock ball around, over, then bowled my variations around and over. So, like, it's a very simple process, and they actually did a great job at making it as smooth as it could have been.
So they marry that up with what you're bowling in a game to make sure that you're not just manipulating your own action so that it's thorough in that. They stop you after a couple, is it? Or you bowl the whole 24 and they say, oh yeah, this marries up, all good, you're good to go, thank you.
Yeah, no, so you bowl it over, and then they sort of sit down. There's screens everywhere, and it's pretty much impossible to sort of change your action, because they've got eyes, and these guys are very smart. They're geniuses actually, mechanically. So they're looking at all these little pinpoints in your action. They sort of mirror it up. So there's heaps of cameras in the testing in Brisbane. So there's so many different angles and whatnot. But then they sort of you bowling over, you go in, they check it, then you go to the next over, then just keep doing that until you're finished.
How'd you bowl?
Yeah, pretty well. Yeah, I think I did it. I sort of like I mentioned before, I like doing the test before a game, like bowling just to a marker, and I probably bowled better than what I usually do there, so it actually came out quite well.
You didn't have Marnus there to keep you for 4 hours, so you only had to bowl 24 balls. You knew it was a short spell. Do you have a batter facing you or anything like that, or is it just you and these guys, the boffins around you, checking everything?
You pretty much bowling. There's stumps at the end, and then just bowling to no one really. Yeah.
So it's the 15 degrees or whatever it is. I don't know. Are you sorry, I can try and get that out. Are you hypermobile? So is that a factor in it, bit. Or?
Not really. They measure that, but not really. Like I hyperextend at the top of my action. But nothing. there's nothing really crazy about it. It's sort of, I think everyone's different in a way, but yeah.
Well, in India, I remember Ravichandran Ashwin explaining in his native lingo, so thankfully we had the subtitles for us who only understand English, about your action and how interesting it is and how he related to it and, you know, saying this is what it is, this is how he's getting so much purchase and all of that. Was that nice to hear from a legend of the game like that, going through, breaking down your action and having ultimate respect for it?
Yeah, it was great. I actually ended up watching or listening to that whole podcast, actually. So he's a genius. He's one of the guys where whenever he says something, you listen. And I actually found it quite cool that he was talking about me. That was probably my first initial response. So no, that was really cool and pleasing. So he's like I said, he's an absolute genius, and he knows. He's one guy where every week he played around the world, he sort of changed his action a little bit. And that's he's one guy I watch when we go to different conditions. Even when he comes to Australia and bowls against the Aussies, I sort of watch how he goes about and his plans. So that was really, really cool to see.
What kind of support did you get from your teammates, both at state level and also the Australian team and the staff as well from Australian cricket while this was going on, even though it was a short period of time?
Yeah, I got plenty of support. It was actually overwhelming how much support I actually received. So, obviously I had my family back in Brisbane, the Gold Coast, and then I had people from Tasmania and the guys that were still over in Pakistan with the Aussie setup. So, heaps of support. So that was something that was really, really nice to see.
Absolutely. So when you get the big tick to all clear, did that happen on the day, or did they have to go and evaluate and do reports and then come back to you?
Yes, it sort of takes. They say it can take anywhere from 7 to 10 days. So I sort of got mine at on the 10th day. So
oh God,
yeah, the last couple of days I was like, come on guys, it's going to be any minute now. But pretty much 7 to 10 days, because I think they send the report off to a couple of other people to sort of review it and tick it off. So you don't really get too much of an indication. Actually, you get no indication until you receive the results.
And was it a stress reliever when you finally did get it, even though in your heart you knew, or you being what I can pretty much understand now as a kind of laid-back guy from the Goldie who doesn't mind to surf, you were like, oh yeah, I knew this was coming.
Like I said, probably the first week, first 8 days, like it was very cruisy. It gave me a chance to sort of, because I bowled a fair bit leading up to that point, gave me a chance to sort of have a bit of time off and spend a bit of time surfing and doing a bit more sort of work in the gym, something you don't really get to do in the middle of the season. So I was really quite relaxed throughout that point. But then the last couple of days, you're like, well, come on, it's time to know now. So I think throughout the whole process, I was all relatively relaxed. Yeah,
and it's great to see you smiling now. And you came back, Pfeiffer and Shield, got rid of Constus, all of those things as well. How has it been? Because most people in life, they go the other way. They go colder state, jack of that, go to a warmer state. You've done the reverse. You've gone from Queensland to Tassie, obviously for professional reasons, and Tasmania is a beautiful place as well. But how has that change been for you, and the environment? How's that helped you?
Yeah, I've loved it. It's been. Yeah, I think if it wasn't for Tassie, I probably don't get that chance in Sri Lanka. So I absolutely love the boys down there. I love the coach. Vaughan has been excellent. Silky's been wonderful, and just playing next to Big Bo Webster, he's just learning off him and how they go about their game. It's vastly different to what I was used to in Queensland. So that's been great, and Tassie is a beautiful place. So especially this time of the year, it's magnificent. So definitely get a little bit cold there in them winter months, but when the season comes down, it's beautiful. So yeah, I think we would have liked to have a bit more successful year this year, but there's definitely some glimpses of some things that we did do really well.
Yeah, and you've found a home. Probably, is it fair to say you're okay with being the number 2 spinner in the land after the GOAT, Nathan Lyon? You called him the GOAT before, and do you feel like when he retires in the year 2057, you got a chance at being the number 1?
Yeah, I sort of know how Gaz operates, so in the way he's bowling at the moment and the way he's thinking, I reckon he's probably playing till he's 50. So, yeah, no, I love Gaz. He's been excellent to me and on and off the field. So yeah, he's an absolute to play. Every time we get a chance to play with him, it's an absolute pleasure to sort of watch how he goes about it. He's everyone knows how good he is, but I'm sort of every time I sort of watch him, I'm still in awe how the ball comes out.
Different actions, obviously, both of you, different ways of going about it. But what have you learnt from him, being on tour with him?
Yeah, he's very big on just making sure that his best ball is it can get anyone out in every condition. So he sort of puts a lot of emphasis on his stock ball and sort of goes to work around that. And just the way he plans is just there's a reason why he's got so many test wickets, and there's no once you sort of hang around, and there's no real shock to why he does go so well. But yeah, no, he spends a lot of work sort of off the field planning, and then the way he trains. He's amazing.
Were you always a spin bowler? Like Nathan looks like he was put on earth to bowl what he does. Was that you?
No, I used to bowl medium pace, and I think year 7, 8, 9, I was bowling pace. So quite similar. I think Todd was quite similar. Same thing, and then that was going downhill very quickly every year. So the coach, one of my school teachers, said we need a spinner. So that's sort of how it came about, and I'm very lucky for that coach.
How did he break that news to you? Was it, can you not, and maybe just go off 6 steps and see how you go?
Yeah, I was at school and I was playing A's, but it was a matter of time till I was getting dropped to the B's. And he said, mate, you're probably going to play B's, but if you want to bowl spin this week, we'll keep you in the A's. So that's sort of how it came about. And I haven't looked back since, really.
Yeah. Thank you, school teacher, whoever that was. He might be looking back proudly now after what you did in Sri Lanka and possibly in the Windies. Obviously, nothing's an assured thing in life, but what does the next few months look for you? You're waiting for a phone call to find out if you're going to the Caribbean and World Test Championship, or have you booked a plane ticket for elsewhere in the world?
No, I'm hanging out in the Gold Coast the next couple of weeks. I was plans of maybe ducking off for a surf trip somewhere, but I think sort of get back into a bit of training, have maybe another week or 2 off, and then get back into training with sort of in a gym, and then sort of start bowling again. So Marnus has already sent me a message saying when he wants to start batting. So I'm sure my arm will get a workout soon enough.
Is he down on the Gold Coast with you? Is he? Or is he in Brisbane?
No, he's in Brisbane. Yeah, so I'll go up to Brisbane and start training there.
Hang on a minute. If he wants you to bowl to him, surely he comes to you. There's a net somewhere on the Goldie he can get you to.
This time of the year, 40 season, I think that's our only option is to head Brisbane, and I'm happy to head there to bowl to him.
What would your bowling be like in the Windies, do you think?
I've never been to the West Indies, so I'm not really sure, but I've watched the last couple of years, it's some of the test matches have taken some spin. So, I think it's one of the things where it can be nice to bat on. It can favour the quicks, but it's also can take some spin. So they've had some success there recently, and even their last series in Pakistan, their spinners went well. So, I'm not really sure, to be fair.
Oh, well, you're in the frame, mate. And it's a pretty cool place to tour, from what I understand, talking to the co-host who's over at the IPL at the moment, Bradley Haddon, about going over there. It's a good place to go. And last week we had Greg Blewett on the show, and we explained to him reminded him of his one dismissal to Keith Arthurton, who was bowling some absolute pie. So if Keith Arthurton can take a test wicket in the Windies, I reckon you can, mate. Definitely more than a few. But wish you well, mate. Enjoy the next couple of weeks, chilling out and wherever it takes you. So if you don't go to Windies, is there the opportunity to get back to England where you've played some county in the last couple of years?
Yeah, hopefully. It's sort of one of the things, like I said, sort of start training now and sort of prepare as you're going to be playing cricket somewhere in the world. So wherever I end up, I'd be more than happy to go play.
Endless summer, mate. Good stuff. Matt Kuhnemann, thanks for joining us on Willow Talk, and all the best for the coming months, mate.
Cheers. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, Heels, there was Matt Kuhnemann, laid-back customer, that fella. He's loves the surf and loves just bowling a Marnus when Marnus wants him to bowl to him up there in Queensland. But good to see him get through that issue that he had. A few nervous moments, obviously, but interesting to note the amount of support that he got from everyone around him. Like sometimes with that, I'd imagine that could go a bit quiet and it's like, oh, we'll just wait and see it. But no, everyone was helping him through it.
Yeah, well, I think the nature of it kind of dictated that. Everyone was kind of thought it was out of the blue. So, it is nice that the cricketing community get together when we all really need it and help one another out. So it's it's nice to see him doing really well.
Is it a coincidence, and I didn't bring this up with Matt because it's unfair to ask him, but we can pontificate, or you can not if you don't want to, you can shoulder arms. But is it interesting that Matt Kuhnemann now has a full-time contract with Australia, but Joel Wilson no longer has a full-time contract with the ICC to umpire games? You can leave it.
No comment. But it's nice to see Matt have a contract.
Yeah, exactly. Joel, nothing against you, mate. Nothing against you. So anyway, but it is what it is. County Froth, let's get into that right now. Tommy Banton, what about this over the weekend, Heels? 371 of 403 balls. He's now on the list of the highest ever score in county cricket, which is a hard thing to do to get on that list because there have been some mammoth scores. B. Lara, all those years ago, being the top of them. But, he helped Somerset to 7 for 670, if you don't mind. And he was batting at number 5, and he came in at 3 for 39. So it wasn't as if he came on an established road. That is an amazing innings.
Well, I mean, you think about the situation that they were in. The other team were probably thinking, easy day here, we'll be batting this afternoon, and then next minute someone's made 371. But I did note of 403 balls, I would have thought, well, this is maybe my way of thinking, but surely after 200 you're having a slog. But his discipline to go 403 balls for that 370, I think probably stands out the most for me, knowing how dynamic a player that he actually is. But yeah, remarkable innings, and county cricket generally at this time of year is very bowler friendly, so it's nice to see the batters getting some runs. Yeah,
exactly. So Tommy Banton, he's played a handful of one-dayers for England. He's played T20 internationals for them, over 10 of them. But, keeps that action up over the next few months, and he's knocking on the door of Bazball call-up for a test match, and they've got a really busy 8 months, England cricket. So Tom Banton immediately in the frame as county cricket got underway. Marcus Harris, good to see him in the runs as well. He returned to Lords for the first time since the 2023 Ashes, where he was abused by a lot of committee members, apparently, following Alex Carey's hardly talked about dismissal of Johnny Bairstow. And Marcus scored a century for his new county, Lancashire. He would have enjoyed that in front of the egg and bacon lot.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I'm like, what a way to return back there for another side and make 100, just to rub salt in the wound just a little bit. But consistent performer over there, Marcus Harris. He's gone over there the last couple of seasons and made a heap of runs, and just keeps keeping his name about being in contention for that opening spot for Australia, in particular by going over there, scoring lots of runs. So, like I said, nice to see him over there doing that, and especially at Lords, we love that.
He was batting at 4 actually in this innings, which is unusual because you're right. He has been at the top of the order for whoever he's been playing for over in England, but a newish role perhaps for him there, and he would have enjoyed it because Marcus is never known for not having a chat, if you know what I mean. So, I don't know if any comments were flung his way, but he would have flung them straight back. Fergus O'Neill started strong as well. 5 for 81, 2 for 29 as Nottinghamshire took on Durham. After shining the shield, could Fergus be in the frame? I think he is. He's Obviously only youngish by fast bowler standards, but if he has a great county season, puts himself in the frame for all kinds of things.
Yeah, well, I think he's had a really, really good summer over here, and he's backed it up early on over there. I think the conditions over in England and the Duke's ball will suit him. Interestingly, I think it'll suit him a lot more than what the Australian conditions do, and he's already doing really well over here. So, yeah, it's nice to have, like I said last episode, it's nice to have a heap of domestic bowlers sticking their hand up saying we're ready to go when the opportunity arises, and his name's definitely in the works at the moment.
To Sundries, and we went through our IPL review earlier on Willow Talk, but one thing I didn't bring up, I wanted to save it for Sundries, was the retired out dismissal, if you call it that, or change that Mahela Jayawardene made for the Mumbai Indians at a crucial time of a run chase. Tilak Varma was the recipient of a call from the bench when he was going too slow, as Mumbai were trying to chase runs late in the game a couple of days ago. When, it was almost situation impossible when it got to that, but Mahela Jayawardene made the call. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever been involved in one of those? Because I can imagine it's a pretty quick way to deflate an ego.
I haven't been involved in one, but I've seen it being used before and used effectively. And I think it's going to come into the game more often than not, in particular with T20 cricket. I mean, there's limited balls to spare, and someone's not hitting the ball as cleanly as what they'd like. Why wouldn't you get some fresh legs out there, fresh swing? So, yeah, I get it, and I guess you would feel a little bit ego bruised after it. But, I mean, in the pursuit of winning, I think it's a great tactical bit of nous to use. And if you got someone better in the shed, why wouldn't you send them out there?
Yeah, he was 25 of 23 at the time and just not timing the ball. And that happens, does it, Heal? Sometimes it's like other sports. You rock up, you think you're feeling well, it just doesn't happen, and then new day dawns and it comes back again. Is it that simple sometimes?
Yeah, 100%. Sometimes the wicket might not be coming on as nicely as what you'd hoped, or you don't quite match up to a bowler as well as what you'd prepared for. It just doesn't come together for you. So you either turn around, kick them over, or get retired by the captain or the coach. So you're probably better off being retired by the coach than turning around and kicking your stumps over and walking off the field out anyway. So, but like I said, it's a tactic, right? And it's going to come more into play in the T20 format as it keeps evolving over the years.
Would you ever do it as a captain, or you'd go, coach, your call, I can't do this?
I'd sit here as a captain and say, yeah, I'd make those hard decisions and I'd do all the right things. But, at the end of the day, I'd leave it to the coach maybe. It's probably up to them.
Fair enough. And just finally, in Sundries, Pakistan have finished up their tour of New Zealand, and they're pretty happy about it because they got trounced 4-1 in the T20s and 3-0 in the one-day series, and it was eventful. Pakistan were chasing 265 in a rain-affected 42 over a match. Imam Haq had to retire hurt on one after he went for a quick single and got in the way of the ball going at warp speed towards the stumps from the fielder, and it got stuck in his grill, and it obviously got a piece of him as well. Yeah. That one I haven't seen too often.
Yuck. And this is the argument that I have quite regularly about why you wear a helmet when you're batting. I get it's hot and you put your cap on when the spinners are on, but actually running between the wickets is just as dangerous as when you're facing the fast bowlers, because an errant throw is just as likely, or a deflection off anything. But yeah, I feel for him in this regard. I mean, after one ball to have that happen looked quite sickening. Probably dented Pakistan's hopes of chasing that as well. But, a bad way to finish the tour for them. But they're probably happy going home.
Is that worse, though, and especially happy going home? There was a bit of an altercation as well. We're led to believe from an Afghanistan supporter who got into a verbal yelling match with a few Pakistan players on the periphery of the ground. So that was uncalled for. But that run-out situation, was that worse than the other moment that happened during this series when there was a blackout just as a bowler was about to release the ball for New Zealand? It was 140 Ks an hour. And the lights went on. And I do realise that New Zealand, they've just got used to the fact that they've got electricity over there, so I can understand these things do happen. Daggers from producer Joel from outside there, our Kiwi friend. But yeah, that would possibly be the worst timing.
Jacob Duffy's like no small human either. Like he's a big guy. He's bowling really well. He's bowling fast at the moment for New Zealand. Can you imagine him charging down at you and you're getting ready to face like an absolute rocket and the lights go out and you're not sure whether he's let the ball go or not? I think that's probably the most terrifying thing I've seen on a cricket field, knowing exactly how that would feel as a cricketer. So an eventful last game. Definitely, especially with the stuff that was happening off field and potential altercation. But nonetheless, an entertaining series to watch. I think New Zealand dominated it, but for me, I've been lounging around the home throughout the day and being able to watch it on the TV over here, entertaining. So, and New Zealand keep unearthing these young cricketers that seem to be world class. So kudos to them. But Pakistan have got a little bit of work to do.
Absolutely. And lastly, a big pat on the back for Quinn Rooney, who is a photographer who works for Getty, I think, down or here in Australia. He took the Wisden Photograph of the Year, and that was awarded last week for his snap of that last wicket at the MCG and that dramatic Boxing Day tests. The whole team crowded around the bat, everyone up, except Marnus, who was trying to effect a run out and a catch at the same time. So that was the Wisden cricket photo of the year. I can't think of a better one. Heels?
You know what? I think I was sitting right next to Quinn because I had that direct view of when it was all unfolding. So, by far the most iconic moment this summer, apart from 16-0. But I think that photo, I think will stand the test of time. I think what an amazing summer it was in the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
Well, okay, perhaps we should have entered a Wisden Photo of the Year entrant in the photo that you put on the group chat of you in your whites at 4 a.m. celebrating after that test match at the MCG. I think that might have maybe challenged Quinn's offering.
Yeah, well, I think they should do like a after dark version of the photo of the year and show what really happens behind the scenes. But I definitely would have won that, surely. I mean, it was just artistic. It was used in the mirror. My room was a mess. The boot was in the photo. I think, there was a lot to that photo that we could have, dived into. So I think it's a worthy opponent of that amazing photo.
And it was good from you because it gave you a memory of it actually being taken, because I'm not sure you can actually remember taking it.
I can remember it. Thank you very much.
Okay. If you say so. Heels, thank you for that. We'll catch up later in the week for more Willow Talk. Have a good one.
Thanks, Adam.
See you, everyone. Yeah, thanks for watching the Willow Talk podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't have to miss an episode wherever you are. And while you're at it, check out these videos up here. They're mostly good.